Have you ever heard me say, get in a ministry? Have you ever heard me say that before? Yeah, if I said it once, I've said it hundreds and hundreds of times since I've been pastoring this church. Get involved in ministry. Why? Well, the simple reason is because that's the way you connect with God, number one, and that's one of the ways you connect with people in the church. And that's what God's purpose is. He wants us to connect with Him. He wants us to connect with each other. And one of the best ways to facilitate that is just by getting involved in some ministry. And here's the other key. This is one of the other benefits to getting involved in ministry. Not only are you connecting with God, not only are you connecting with other people, but also this is how you're going to reach your fullest potential for having joy in your life. Scott just got done talking about grumbling and complaining and all of that kind of stuff. Listen, one of the best ways to get out of that terrible, stinking, thinking attitude and grumbling attitude is to stop focusing on yourself and start looking to other people. Start focusing on them. Get involved in ministry. Does that make sense? You take the attention off yourself and you start focusing on other people, and all of a sudden you start experiencing more joy in your life. This is what Paul said in Philippians chapter 2, verse 17 through 18. He said, "But even if I am being poured out as a drink offering upon the sacrifice and service of your faith, I rejoice and share my joy with you all. And you too, I urge you, rejoice in the same way and share your joy with me." Now there's several words I want you to circle. If you're at home, do this as well. If you got your outline out, circle the word sacrifice, circle the word service, circle the word rejoice, and circle the word joy. This is the key to having joy in your life. This is the key of having this attitude of rejoicing. It's through sacrifice and service. All of that's connected in that passage. That's the secret. That's the key to joy in life, is living a life of service. Now, God wired us that way. Here's the reason why. God wired us this way because He wants us to be more like His Son, Jesus Christ. I mean, when I think of somebody who sacrificed and who served, I can't think of anybody who did that better than Jesus Christ. He was the one who sacrificed everything for all of us. That's what the cross is all about. He's the one who gave us the model on how to serve. He tells us in the Bible, He said, "I didn't come to be served, but to serve." That's our example. And the reason why God wired us to find joy through sacrifice and service is because He wants us to become more like Jesus Christ. Am I back on track again? Good, good. So, when you're serving God with your time, your talent, your treasure, that's when you're going to be able to reach the fullest potential in your life. Your God-given potential in life. And I want to illustrate that for you this morning. And I told you I brought a couple things with me. And each one of these things represent how that we are able to reach our fullest potential. Now, these are just simple artist brushes. All right, I took them out of our garage. My daughter still has like a ton of stuff at home. Even though she's lived outside of our house now for like 3 years, we still store all of her stuff in our house. But that's okay. That's okay. I just needed a couple of brushes. So my daughter, she's the artist in the family. She gets that from my mom. My mom, she was a very, very good artist. We've got lots of her paintings in our house. And if I tried to paint something with these paint brushes, if I tried to paint your portrait, if I tried to paint the hills, a building, you name it, it would look lousy. It would look so, so bad. I mean, these brushes would be begging to get out of my hands. because I just can't paint. I don't have that kind of creativity. I'm not able to do that. But if you put these same brushes in the hands of a master painter, what would they be able to accomplish? If Picasso had these brushes, if Michelangelo had these brushes, if you put these same brushes in the hands of a master artist, they would produce magnificent looking paintings. You would stare at them and maybe even cry because they look so beautiful. You'd cry if I painted something, but not for the same reason. You know what I'm saying? So in my hands, I'm not able to really bring out the full potential of these painters' brushes, but in the hands of a master artist, they would be able to reach their fullest potential. The same way with this ruler or pencil. Now, I can draw a line. I can take, a ruler and I can draw a line, and I might even be able to draw some kind of a figure of a house, or a street or a sidewalk. But you wouldn't want to build what I drew with this. You would not want to build it. But if you put this ruler and this pencil in the hand of a master architect who knew how to use a ruler and a pencil to give you dimension, to give you all of the beautiful lines that you would see in a house maybe or in a building, it would create that architect, like, what's his name? Wright? Frank Floyd Wright. Lloyd. You put these same things in his hands, he would create a building, a house that you would love to live in, that you would love to work in. You would look at that big old high rise and you go, wow, that is spectacular. Then they would reach their fullest potential because they were in the hands of a master architect. Does that make sense? In my hands, nothing. Nothing. They're just a simple ruler and a pencil. Means nothing. Video. A video camera. How does a video camera reach its fullest potential? Well, not in my hands. In my hands, it's just a stupid video camera that I'm just taking stupid video with, and it really doesn't look any good at all. It's all over the place, and it's like, there's no perspective, and I'm not able to do that. I'm not creative enough to do that. But if you put this same video camera, this camera, in the hands of somebody like a master photographer or movie maker, like Spielberg, what do you think Spielberg would be able to do with this video camera? He would be able to create a beautiful movie that you would pay to go to see and watch. You might even buy it. If I made the same video, you wouldn't pay me a nickel for that video, for that movie, right? Why? Because I'm not getting the full potential out of this video camera. But Spielberg, he could. He could. Now, this is what I want you to understand this morning. We're like all of these things. We're like the paintbrushes. We're like the ruler, like the pencil. We're like this video camera. Our life is like that. And if you're trying to get the fullest potential out of your life on your own, you are never, ever going to achieve your God-given potential in life. But if you put your life, and I put my life, in the hands of the master of all, the Lord of lords, the King of kings, if we put our life in the hands of Jesus Christ, then we are going to be able to accomplish our full potential in life. Does that make sense? So look what it says in Romans chapter 6, verse 13. Paul says, give yourselves completely to God, to be tools in the hands of God, to be used for His good purposes. It's amazing what people were able to do in their life when they put their life in the hands of God. I mean, think about this. I'll just give you a couple examples. There was a shepherd in the Old Testament named Moses. And when he put his life in the hands of God, God was able to use Moses to deliver the nation of Israel out of Egyptian bondage. He was able to take the nation of Israel across the Red Sea. He was able to use Moses in great and wonderful ways. In fact, just thinking about what happened on the Red Sea, Moses had a stick. Remember the rod he had? It was a wooden rod. And God took that rod, using Moses, and parted the Red Sea. And Israel went across on dry ground. That's the kind of stuff that you accomplish when you put your life in the hands of God. That's the kind of stuff. I mean, I think of people like Samson. Samson, you know what he was? He was a simple farmer. He came from a farmer family. They worked out in the fields. You know what God did with Samson? When Samson put his life in the hands of God, God allowed Samson to have so much strength, so much power, that he was able to take a jawbone from an ass and kill 3,000 Philistines at one time. One person with just a jawbone of an ass killing 3,000 professional soldiers. Is that crazy or what? That's the kind of stuff you are able to accomplish when you put your life in the hands of God. I think of another guy in the Bible, just a little tiny boy, a teenager, David. He went up against a giant called Goliath, and he took a simple stone and a sling and killed that giant dead. You know why? It wasn't because David was such a great person. He was just a teenager. It wasn't because he was so muscle-bound that he had enough strength to be able to kill that giant all on his own. No, that's not the reason. The reason is because David put his life in the hands of God, and then God used him and that stone and that sling to kill that giant. That's the kind of stuff that we're able to accomplish in life when we surrender ourselves to the Master and we put our life in his hands.